You had to assert yourself because if you let it, people are always going to tell you who they want you to be. You know, they're always going to say, no, but this is who you are, or this is what I want you to be, you know, or like, this is what the family values are, or like, this is what you represent in the family. But then at some point, you're like, that's not me, this is me. And I need to be able to tell you that or to show you that.
How has understanding yourself as a human being or as a creative changed the way you think about beauty, and how has it reflected in your work?
I feel like it reflects just in the sense that to me, it's about being able to look at myself in the mirror and loving what I see, you know?
Welcome to Imagine It, the podcast for you, for me, and everyone ready to do better. When I first walked into Ivan's studio, I had no idea we were about to have this conversation. I thought we'd talk about makeup techniques, maybe some business tips, the usual stuff. Ivan moved from Brussels to Kigali in 2020. He found a city with literally no professional makeup artists, and instead of seeing a problem, he saw an opportunity. Let's get into it. Ivan.
Yeah.
Ivan. Please, Ivan, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about you, who you are, and then we can start the conversation from there.
So my name is Ivan Mugemanyi. I'm a makeup artist and photographer based in Kigali for now the last 5 years. I started my career in makeup first 15 years ago back in Belgium. That's where I grew up, in Belgium, in Brussels. I started my career then, and in December 2020 decided to continue my career here in Rwanda, and it's been quite successful. So I'm very happy to be here in your podcast talking about it. Yes.
Love to hear that. So tell us, what made you want to come back? What made you move? You grew up there. Were you born there?
No, I was born here, but my parents moved when I was 2 years old. So basically all my life I lived in Belgium, in Brussels, grew up there, thought that I would, live and die there. And I don't know, surprisingly, here I am. It wasn't a dream of mine originally, but there was something. When I first came in 2015, so 10 years ago now, I don't know, there was something that was calling me back to the continent. I also wanted change in my life. I wanted to take more ownership. I wanted to work for myself. I was tired of working for other people. So I don't know, like the energy of people, hungry to make something out of the country really inspired me. And it took me a long time to make the decision to move completely here. About 5 years, because in those between 2015 and 2020, I was traveling back and forth, only coming here for wedding season. So in the summer and then December. And yeah, until it was just, the desire to move here and to live here was just like too big, and I had to do it. And so I came. Yeah.
Yeah. So makeup was your first love, or you had other things that you wanted to do?
No, I think makeup was never my first love. I've always had an interest in makeup. It was always in the back of my mind, or like one thing that inspires me. But I liked style more than anything. I like fashion, obviously, as well. Fashion as was my first love, I would say, ever since I was, a teenager, like a young teenager. I remember from like 10, 11, just, seeing fashion photography, and then, the supermodels, the clothes, the fashion shows and stuff like that. And makeup was just one aspect of it, along with hair and clothes. And so actually I first started my career as a stylist. And I did that for like a few years. Obviously, I was struggling. I was very young, with no expertise and no real connection in the industry. And then I moved on to hair. I took a training in hair, and then somehow settled with makeup. And I don't know. It's like makeup is what finally connected with as a job, basically, between me and the clients that I had. Yeah.
So you connected first as a job, or it's something that you really wanted to
where it
explore?
connected in the sense that, I was working as a stylist, freelancing as a stylist. I was also working as a hairstylist for a little bit, but I didn't have a lot of clients. It wasn't enough for me to make a proper living. And for some reason, when I started doing makeup, it clicked, not only with me, but like also with people who are like, okay, let's pay this person to do my makeup. And I mean, step by step, I managed to make a living out of it. But originally, it wasn't my biggest passion. You know, out of everything, it was the last thing I thought I would do with my life, to be honest. Yeah.
And now it's what you're doing full
And now
time.
it's what I do full time. You know, that just goes to show you life doesn't prepare you for what you're going to do. Actually, no, life maybe prepares you, but maybe sometimes you're not ready to listen, or you're just like focused on one thing and you don't realize that, you know, it can take you somewhere else, you know.
You wanted to be a stylist for a long time, or?
I wanted to be a stylist, yeah, because I loved clothes. I didn't want to become a fashion designer, really, but I loved, you know, I love dressing myself, but I love mixing clothes together, and I love telling a story with clothes, you know, and especially because what inspired me a lot was fashion photography, you know, like the magazines. I was obsessed with fashion magazines, and I wanted to create those images or be part of the creation of those images, and fashion was definitely a big part of that. But looking back, I think that what attracted me to those images wasn't just the clothes, the makeup. It was also just the overall fantasy, and I think that's also how I started, you know, like photography as well, is because it's the whole fantasy. You know, I like to create the vision. When I was younger, I was also very much obsessed with like films and Hollywood and the superstars. And, you know, when you see a star in a film, it's like something else as when you see them on a photo in real life. It's like so completely different. And I was fascinated by how can someone look completely normal one day, but once they're being filmed and dressed and then made up and then, you know, everything and put, you know, in an environment, they look like a superstar. They look like magic, really. Yeah. And I was obsessed with that. And yeah, now I can't believe it's what I do for a living, but
that's what you do for other people.
And I would do that for other people because it really is transformative. And yeah, it's a great feeling that I can do it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Makeup artist is the only word that has artist in it. You know, like, because you can have a painter, they don't have artist in the name, but makeup artist is a word. It is
a word. I think it's overdone. I don't know who decided to call a makeup artist a makeup artist because, I mean, at the end of the day, and especially me here in Rwanda, I'm at the service of the client that's sitting in my chair. So I don't really consider what I do art, but there is a certain aspect of creation and of sharing, which, you know, in return, that's how you connect with your clients. So maybe in that aspect, there is an element of art, but I wouldn't be comfortable, you know, like just having someone in my chair and then, okay, let me just create art on you. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. Like, no, you tell me, how do you feel beautiful? How do you feel comfortable? And let's try to interpret that, you know, and create that. But I'm not here to create art. No.
I think I need to do more research on that because it always fascinates me. Makeup artist. That means they're artists.
I mean, that's the word in English. You know, in French, we just call ourselves maquilleur. There's no sense of art in the name. But definitely, you know, makeup artist sounds a lot nicer than maquilleur. Right? So I'll take it. But am I 100% comfortable with that word? Or when people call me an artist, I'm like, yeah, yes. No. It's just like, okay, yes. If you say so. Yeah.
So let's go back to your childhood. How was your childhood? What inspired you to be who you are now?
My God, you know, we're only two, so I have an older brother who's 2 years older than me. We are completely different. Like everything, he likes different things.
Yeah.
So definitely I spent a lot of time by myself, and I was, you know, that kid that spent a lot of time in his bedroom, like, by himself, dreaming of a life, or like, singing in my bedroom. I used to sing a lot, and I used obviously to watch a lot of television, but, like musicals. I was a big fan of musicals, and I would have put on performances for myself in my bedroom or in my house when my parents or my brother weren't there. So, I like to play by myself, basically. But definitely I liked the performative aspect, the performance aspect of things. And so, growing up, it was just a lot of that. Just me, by myself, pretending I'm somebody else. I'm somebody else. And as I grew, then, you start watching movies and you start reading magazines, lots of magazines. I couldn't afford, these magazines that are quite expensive. So I would go, there was a local library there. So I would go there every week and spend hours and hours just like looking through all those different magazines and just watching, like just consuming. And then when the internet started to come, then, spending hours and hours watching, like the latest fashion shows, the latest, publication of international magazines and stuff like that. So for like the first part of my life, it was just consuming fashion and beauty and film and all of that style. Yeah.
What was style something celebrated in your household when you were young?
Well, no, and certainly not my style. I remember once, when I was a younger teenager, of course, when I was younger, my mom would dress us. But, when it came time for me to dress myself, I remember once we went shopping with my mom and my brother, and she told my brother, oh, you need to go with him because he doesn't know what he's doing. He needs help. With his clothes. Yeah, talking about me.
But you don't know what you're doing with style?
Listen, she's an African mother, so you know what? The truth will come out. But I think even to this day, she thinks I dress terribly, But I think there was a shift, at least in myself. I remember when I was 17, again, I went shopping with my mom, and there was this jacket by Tommy Hilfiger. And I absolutely loved this jacket. I saw it, I was just like, oh my God, but it was expensive, especially for us at the time. And, I went to my mom, it's just, I saw this thing, I like it, and she said, yeah, like, it's nice, get it. I was like, oh my God. And so I got the jacket. I looked amazing, and I had a bit of pocket money. I went to buy like this hat, and I went to school the next day. Let me tell you, you couldn't tell me nothing. I thought I was the coolest person on the planet. Yeah. And I feel like that was one of the first time when I felt sort of the power of fashion, dressing up for yourself, and all of a sudden you feel like a superhero. I wear that jacket and that hat, I felt like so amazing.
You're on top of the world.
And, I wouldn't say introverted, but I've always been a little bit more reserved. And no, that day, I came to school. I felt like, yes, guys, people, look at me. Look at me. Yes,
look at me.
Yes.
And that shaped who you are, or it's one episode in your life?
I mean, definitely after that, it gave me such a boost that, I experimented more with fashion, a lot more. People say, people say in my family or people who know me, like there was a big transformation in my life when I turned around 18, because around that time, my mom didn't buy my clothes anymore. So, I was just like, I'm dressing up for myself. I buy my own stuff. So definitely I can wear what I want now. And, I experimented.
Yeah.
I mean, even till this day,
I think you're still experimenting.
I'm still experimented, but, back then I experienced that a lot.
Yeah.
And you can imagine for a Rwandan mother, sometimes it can be a bit extreme, but I loved it. I loved it. And, I lived it to the maximum. And even to this day, I think it's such a confidence boost,
Yeah,
So,
your style is a bit different. And has that been a challenge for you? Have you struggled with identity and knowing where you stand in your society?
Definitely I struggled with, I wouldn't say with my clothing, because by that point, I started to experiment with clothes. I don't know, I feel like it goes hand in hand, like the more I experimented with fashion, the more I gained confidence in who I am, how I showed up in the world. And so definitely before that, obviously being a closeted kid, it was just like very hard, very difficult. But once I was out, it was just for me to be as open as possible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you mean out, that means you doing
out of the closet. Yes, out of the closet, because it was definitely something that was important for me to sort of just be honest and truthful and just live my life openly.
How long did that take you?
The coming out in and of itself, it didn't last. I don't know, it depends, because, I first started to tell my cousins and my friends, but, my mom, she was the last to know 5 years later. But the struggle was all throughout my adolescence, fighting with the thought of that. But it's so liberating in a way. And that's why when that was done, there's no more limits to what you can do. I think it's such a freedom. And I always say, like, it's such a blessing as well, because I see people all the time where they feel restricted and they refuse to live their life because, what will my parents say? I cannot do that. What will other people say? And being able to have that freedom at such an early age, obviously when I was 18, it's not a night and day. It's a process, but definitely it gives you such a freedom that nobody can really limit you in what you can do, what the potential for your life can be, and I highly recommend.
How would you advise someone if someone came and said, I'm struggling with this, I don't know how I can get out of the closet?
It's a process, because you need to be, I was very lucky that I was surrounded by a lot of love, I come from an African family, so it was definitely difficult. My mother, there were comments here and there, but I've always been really close with my cousins, and it was stressful, telling them the first time, but, I was lucky that everybody embraced me and everybody sort of protected me as well. And so by the time that I came out to my mother, it was just like so much easier. And I think also for her, because it's not like I came out to her immediately. So by the time I came out to her, she had like a softer cushion and the work was less complicated for her as well.
Yeah.
So what would I advise is just like, make sure you're surrounded by people who have your back. I feel like, and maybe sometimes you need to test, maybe don't, make sure, but you need to have, if it's not your family, a friend group or someone that has your back, that that you're not by yourself, because it is a big decision. Obviously in Belgium, it's a bit easier than here in Rwanda, but, even things have changed in Rwanda, and I see people who are out, and to me, I find it so beautiful, and that's why the importance of community, of friendship, and all those things. It's really comforting. Yeah, and it gives you a lot of strength and confidence. Because if it was just for me by myself, maybe I guess I would still be in the closet, but. To be able to live, to have that support behind me was, a confidence boost, and just give me a lot more strength in the day-to-day life.
The confidence you have. I think you
Do
have.
I?
Yeah.
Do I? Well, it's a process. It takes a long time. It's a work in progress always. There are still many aspects in my life where I lack confidence, but I can say in certain things, Yeah, I have confidence. I would say yes.
So makeup does it help you express yourself? Creatively, emotionally, all these things that you feel. Is makeup a good enough outlet for you?
It is an outlet. It is definitely self-expression. I've always loved beauty. So to me, to be able to create beauty, I don't know, it gives something to me. And especially as someone who has struggled in my younger years, to be able to give that back to people, it's very fulfilling. To take ownership of your own beauty. I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. I see it with clients all the time where they come in, it's just like, oh, no, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm, if I feel that, that I'm allowed to do this. Even simple things like, wearing foundation, wearing lashes, wearing mascara. And it's just like, no, it's just another way for you to feel comfortable and confident within yourself. And then when you see them after the makeup is done and they look at themselves and it's like they see themselves for like the first time, it's just like, oh my God, this is me. I can't believe that this is me. I feel, well, yes, this is you as well. So yes, it is a way of self-expression for sure.
So when that happens, when someone is excited to see themselves in the mirror, how does that make you feel?
That's the best feeling. I feel like that's the motivation for what we do as makeup artists, is that, that reaction of a client when they look at themselves in the mirror and it's just like, oh my God, like who knew? But that's the best feeling.
And you have a certain style that many people are looking for when they come to you. What is that style? And how does that relate to who you are as a person?
I mean, my style in terms of makeup is definitely more on the natural side. I believe in individuality, so I believe that not everyone should look the same. You're like, that's not the point. We have a particular face, so we should embrace that and enhance that, And the things about makeup, there are techniques to enhance the things that you naturally have. So, but without being necessarily transformative. And so my style is to enhance as much as possible while still maintaining a sense of naturality, in the face. So I love to do less, even if I'm going to use a lot of makeup, the goal is to always try and use as little as possible while still making most of the impact. Also, I think my background in fashion also helps because, at the end of the day, makeup is only one aspect of the entire style. So if you're doing, let's say, if you're at 300% with your makeup, but then you go home and then you need to do the hair and then you need to, it's just, oh God, someone comes out and it's like Christmas. There's just like too much everywhere. So I don't know.
Who is this?
Like, who is this? What is this? You're like, doing too much.
I think there has to be a balance because we love makeup, but again, how far is too far?
Yeah, and I feel, it's luckily there's enough for everyone. Some people, they want to do too much, but yeah, like makeup to me, it's only like that's what I think of the end result. So I know hair is coming. I know the clothes are coming. The jewelry is coming. So this needs to blend together.
You have that in mind. Yes. Before you start doing the makeup.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I ask questions, what are you going to wear? How you're going to do your hair if it's not done before, the type of jewelry, just how you feel today. Some people, they come and they can go to a glamorous event, but on that particular day, they don't feel like their most glamorous selves. So I'm not going to do like the most glamorous makeup just because, it needs to fit the feeling as well. Or on the opposite side, sometimes people are just, it's my birthday and I want to be the focus of attention. Everybody needs to look at me. And then it's, okay, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Yes. Nice. Mm-hmm. And now, how did you turn it into a business? Because you can love something, you can enjoy it, but how do you turn it into a business?
Like the funny thing is now, I think about this often is like I turned all of my hobbies into businesses, you know? Again, like that's the beauty of having people who have your back. Because someone who grew up like believing in myself, well, I can do this. So it was just people that, oh, you're good at doing makeup. Like you should do this. You should do this. And encouraging me, you know, to start working in that. You know, after I finished my training in makeup, I started to work for MAC Cosmetics in Brussels, and that's when I started to get returning clients. You know, I would help someone and they would come and they would talk about me. Oh, there's this guy at this store. He does the most natural makeup. You need to go there. You need to go there. He has the best advice for makeup. And after 2 years of working there, I had my friend who had this idea of starting together a makeup business, and she asked me, "Do you want us to do this together?" And by that point, I was ready to start that journey and work for myself and to put myself out there, and. But again, it was thanks to her seeing the potential in me and seeing that, okay, together we can do something really, really beautiful and really big and really impactful. And this is how we started Tamim Beauty back in Belgium
I
at
got
that
to
time.
know that you're part of Tamim last night because I've seen the name, but I didn't know you're part of it.
It was me for the first because we started Tamim December 2014. So until I moved back here, December 2020. Yeah.
You started it here or you started?
No, we started in Belgium, in Brussels originally, but very quickly because we started in December 2014. That's when we had our first pop-up in Belgium. And then I came January 2015, so just 1 month later, I came on a holiday here in Rwanda. And at the time, I met so many people who were like, oh my God, you're a makeup artist. You need to come here. You need to come here. You need to come here. And I mean, people were convincing enough that, as soon as I got back, we just started a business, but, in Rwanda, they don't have any makeup artists. We should go and try it out. And I was convincing enough. We came together that first summer, July 2015, and it was an immediate success. So after that, I continued to come back.
How was the makeup scene, the beauty scene that time?
In Rwanda?
Yeah.
It was non-existent. There was no existence.
Natural beauty.
Oh, well, I think people were desperate because, the only people actually doing makeup were just some women at the hair salon who had one powder and maybe a crayon and then maybe one lipstick and then that's it,
Yeah.
But nobody was trained or skilled or was using actual makeup techniques.
Yeah.
And so I guess people around that time were just desperate for people with makeup knowledge, because also around that time, that's when you had the first big designers here in Rwanda who were beginning to come out with their own lines.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Aude Basso, House of Tayo, Sonia Mogabo, all those people. And then it was also around that time that you had the first fashion weeks in Rwanda. So definitely the need for professional makeup was needed. And thank God I was at the right place at the right time. And it got me to where I am today.
Yeah, I feel like makeup that time, the way I remember when I was young, it was more of a powder and...
Yes, eyeliner, Tiro.
Tiro,
yes.
But Tiro will go everywhere. It will go on the eye, will go on the lips, will go on the eyebrows. And what else? And some lip balm.
Yes.
Oily lip. Tiro, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's how it first started. Even back in Belgium, I remember. So, because I started doing makeup professionally, I think it was 2013, 2012, something like that. So at that time, I was around 26, 27. But I had been doing makeup on my cousins and stuff like that and friends when I was 18, 19. And back then, my cousins, they were just doing those things, a pencil and then maybe powder, even powder. If some of them had it, most of them didn't have it. But it was just like a brown pencils and, either a clear lip gloss or just Vaseline or whatever, lip balm. But I would see them try, like an eyeshadow. One of my cousins, she had bought like this big eyeshadow palettes with like 70 different colors. But then she didn't know. But then somehow I knew that the way that she was doing it wasn't correct. I don't know how, I don't know why. And then she would tell me, well, since you know better why don't you do it? And that's how I started, like just, like using the colors of these eyeshadow palettes, on their eyes, and I would put it on their cheeks, and then I would put it on their lips to create a lipstick as well. And this is how I first started. And I feel like because I had an interest in that, like I had never done it, but then, you watch enough pictures, you see enough movies, that understanding of where things should go and how things should look, I've never done an eyeliner. I had never done an eyeliner at that point, but I knew that, the eyeliner needs to be quite sharp and it needs to be at the lash line and it needs to end in a nice point. So I knew that. And so the goal was I knew
looking
that.
At pictures or
because, you look at fashion magazine, even in fashion magazine, you have like beauty editorials where it's just like a close up of the model's face. And then, even though I didn't know what an eyeliner was, if I see an eyeliner, I know that if I, like that line here should be sharp and should end in a point. So if you're doing your eyeliner and it's all zigzaggy and it's not straight, I know that's wrong,
It's considered art.
Well, that's why, I don't consider myself an artist, because to me it's like painting by numbers, basically,
It has a formula.
It has a formula. An eyeliner should look like that, I mean, there are different shapes of eyeliner, but I know it shouldn't be zigzaggy. I know that for sure.
Is it fair to say that eyeshadows are one of the things that you use a lot for your personal makeup, the things you want to express?
I mean, I use eyeshadow for sure. I think I use it a lot because also I feel like what people struggle the most with is eyeshadow. I think that's why also they approach a makeup artist, after skin, but, people can use a powder or whatever, but people struggle with, mixing colors together, making the eyes popping.
Because it's a hit or miss.
It's a hit or miss. If you don't, you can look very bad very quickly. So it is very scary. So, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite because, again, like I like a natural makeup. So if, I can get away with just using one color and then moving on to the rest of the face, to me, like I would prefer to do that. But, you're also here to play and people pay a lot of money as well. So you need, to give their money's worth,
Yeah, and it's quite expensive for something that you're going to wash
off. Yes.
So how did that affect your business? Because you came from a place where makeup is celebrated, the equipments are there, and people know what they're looking for, and you come to a place where you're going to start over. How was that, and how were you received in that industry?
Here in Rwanda?
Yeah.
Listen, no, I mean, it was so exciting because there was no makeup artist here. People opened me with like open arms. Like we came here, I mean, meeting people, meeting people, getting ourselves known. We had our first launch party, actually close to here at the Urban Hotel, close by in Kiyovu. And it was a big success. It was packed of people. So, people were like excited for us to be here. And after that event, we're like booked.
Till today.
And I mean, until today. But yeah, with open arms, but just because there really was a need for it, it's not just because my makeup is so good, I mean, hopefully they thought it was good.
It was really good.
But really there was a need for it, and I was here. So it was just like really, it was so positive. Like I can't even think of, and again, people ask me like, oh, was there a downside? Like to me, it was really so positive that, oh my God, I felt. And there was really this energy of making a difference, because the thing in Europe, even if you're good, it's just like, there are plenty of other makeup artists who are good too, you know, who are really, really good too. And it's just like you're coming in an industry that's a bit more mature, that's a bit stronger. So you're just like, yeah, 1 in 1,000, where, you know, here you're one of one. So I don't know. I like that. I like to feel unique, and I like to feel, you know, like I'm making a difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How has your makeup style evolved over time? Did it evolve with the clientele, or you have another way of?
No, it's evolved. It's evolved with the trends, definitely. I try to keep up with the time. You know, I love fashion, I love style, so style trends, you know, evolve all the time. So I make sure I stay on top of it. And also, but because, you know, makeup in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years have seen like such a big boom through, you know, the influence of, you know, reality TV shows, then YouTube,
the Kardashians.
And then the Kardashian, big time. You know, it's just like night and day.
Makeup industry a lot.
Big time, big time. I remember when I was still working at MAC, when the Kardashians started to show up on the scene, it's just like everyone had wanted contour, you know, everybody started wanting, you know, foundation, concealer, whereas before it wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, concealer is something new even here, right? And leave alone the highlighting, and things like that. So all those things are new. Here.
They're new, so
around,
definitely you need to adapt, because people want to look that like the people they see online, on the internet, in magazines and stuff. And so like my style has evolved like to reflect that demand as well, definitely. I still like to keep things on the natural side. If you compare my makeup today to my makeup 10 years ago, it's a drastic difference, you know? It's just like now it's a lot more sophisticated. It's a lot more makeup. But just because also people expect more, you know? Before, I remember when I first started, you know, I wasn't using face lashes a lot. I wasn't doing too much on the eyebrows. I wasn't even doing too much with the foundation or blush or anything. But now people expect, you know, eyebrows and lashes, and then an eyeliner, and then a face beats. And so even when they want something natural, the natural of today is not the same as the natural as 10 years ago.
Do you know what I like? I like the pink blush.
You like the pink blush?
I like it.
Well, that's a very, very new thing. You know, I have always loved blush, but, you know, people have always, I mean, my clients have always, not too much blush, not too much blush. And then it's only in the last year, again, because of these trends that now, oh, no, I love blush. So go in. But then, like,
a friend of mine put me on that. Like, Peace, she looks great.
Yes.
With the pink blush.
With the pink blush.
I was like, this is nice.
It is nice. I love it. Yeah. I love blush. But like before, people used to, no, please, less. People used to stop me.
Don't you think it was about fear of
yes, definitely,
not being
especially
recognized?
I don't think it's about not being recognized. I feel like it's also, as Black people with pink cheeks, you know, it's just like, what is that? Why would I have pink cheeks as a Black person?
Yeah.
Again, it's forgetting that, okay, makeup is about enhancing, but it's also about play, you know, and you can play so much with color, and that's the fun of it. And it's only now that, people are just starting to have actual fun with makeup. Yes.
We can see it in weddings. You see someone, you're like, wow, you look great.
They look great.
They're like, spend some time in the makeup studio.
No, they do it. And, you know, and it's good for business because, you know, the more people talk about makeup, people see makeup, people want to get their makeup done nicely. And so it's good for our business. And also I've seen, you know, so 10 years ago, there was no makeup artists, no professional makeup artists, and look at now, there are like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Every day there's a new girl starting makeup. So
great. And also people have confidence to do the makeup themselves. Like
yes, absolutely.
See someone doing makeup in the car. Someone,
yes,
and you're like, wow, I like that you are comfortable with your tools. What are your favorite tools in doing makeup? What are your favorite?
Oh God, that question. What are my favorite tools? What are my favorite tools? I guess mascara. I wouldn't say my favorite tools, but what I would consider maybe the number one thing, if you're doing makeup, some things that you cannot miss to me is mascara, concealer, and I would say a lip gloss or something to make your lips a little bit juicier, a little bit plumpier, to make them stand out, and I guess blush also at the end.
In terms of like your aesthetic, what comes first? Do you look at the eyes? Do you look at when you see someone, a client?
No, I look at their overall face. I try to take it in and then see, okay, what will I focus on? What will be my challenge? Again, how do I make sure that I enhance the face that is in front of me? So I try to consider everything, the skin tone, the face shape, the face structure, and try to see, okay, some people have, like tiny eyes, hooded lids, and it's just like, if I try to correct or create a new eye shape out of that, not that it's going to look terrible, but it's not going to look effortless. So maybe, and then after communicating that with them, of course, listen, let's not put the focus too much on the eyes. If I try to do too much on your eyes, which are not made, your eye shape is not, conducive to that. So let's focus maybe, yes, contouring the face nicely, a little blush, and then maybe a nice lipstick, and keeping the eyes very, very soft. On the other hand, someone who has like incredible eye space and, just like, let's put the focus on the eye and let's keep the rest very natural. The same thing with someone who has like amazing skin, for instance. I'm like, what, let's just not use too much foundation. Your skin is absolutely amazing, but let's make sure, we bring highlights, color with blush, make the skin as juicy, as radiant as possible, and keep the rest, in balance.
It sounds like your approach is very collaborative. You work with the client.
Yes. To me,
you ask them questions, you have a conversation. How long does a session take? Because it sounds like it's more of like, what are you looking for? There's time to have a conversation.
I mean, you have to work as you go, so I do like to communicate, to investigate with my clients, see what they want, because it's important, it's imperative to me to collaborate with the clients because it's their face, they're going to go out of my studio with my work on their face. So it needs to be something that they're comfortable walking out of here with. But at the same time, I also don't like to take too much time working, so I like to keep it to 1 hour maximum. And already that's double than what I used to do like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was like 30 minutes max.
Really?
Yes. And that's also how I was trained. Like when you worked at MAC at the time, you had 30 minutes max to do a full makeup. And now again, because the requirements for makeup are completely different with lashes, contour, and everything. So it takes a little bit more time, but I like to keep it at under 1 hour. So like 45 minutes to 1 hour is like, because as a consumer of makeup myself, I don't like someone on my face for like 2 hours, like what are you doing? I also like for people to be out of here as quickly as possible as well, because it's just, I'm thinking, first of all, I have another customer that's waiting right after, so I don't want to keep people here just for the sake of keeping here. And so, I like to keep it moving. And I feel like this idea of keep it moving, that's also what helps keeping the whole thing very natural, because once I had a client and she said to me, I love my makeup, but it looks like a makeup I could have done myself if I knew what I was doing. And I really loved that, because even to me, the best makeup is when the clients do their own makeups, they know what works on themselves, if they know that what they're doing, of course, So obviously sometimes
important point.
important point. Yes. Some people don't know, and it's like go see a professional. But some people, some girls, like they know what they're doing, and because they know what they're doing, they also know what works on their face, and it looks, But then, like when some of them, you know that they're not spending hours and hours doing their own makeup, And I feel like once you start like spending hours, you start to do things that aren't natural, or that, you make it harder for yourself. And then like once you start making it harder for yourself, that's when you start changing the face, So I like to keep it quick as well, just because I feel like it keeps it natural. It keeps it from trying to do too much everywhere. I always say, like, girls, to my team, like, keep it moving, because let's say you're spending 20 minutes on eyebrows alone. Yeah. What are you going to do with the rest of the face? It's literally just the eyebrows. And you can tell when someone has spent, like 20, 30 minutes just doing eyebrows, that's all you can see, Yeah. And you have girls in Rwanda walking around with like eyebrows shouting at you. And it's just like, yeah, that's what ends up happening. And to me, I just like, you know what? You do, and you move on to something else. If you have to come back and perfect, you can do it later, but then try to put it on. And most of the time, that's enough. Most of the time, that's enough. The person looks pretty, she's glamorous, she's beautiful. She looks at herself and she can go, but then like once you try to make everything clean and perfect and sharp, then you walk out looking like a puzzle and just, like, eyes and then cheeks and then lips and liner and shapes and angles everywhere. And like a beautiful face has harmony, and everything blends and nothing is screaming at you like from every angle of your face.
I think that's where the art is in the makeup artist.
Again, forcing it on me.
Yeah, because knowing the balance. Sometimes less is more, but also when you see it and you feel something deeper, you're like, well, it's not a lot that was done, but I feel change. Yeah. And I think that's where the art is. So now the question I would like to ask you is, how has understanding yourself as a human being or as a creative changed the way you think about beauty, and how has it reflected in your work?
I feel like it reflects just in the sense that to me, it's about being able to look at myself in the mirror and loving what I see, and accepting what I see most of all, and that's a long journey. So you need to accept, the flaws and the good thing. And that's the same thing with makeup. That's why I like to keep it natural. It's just like, okay, yes, we have flaws, but let's not restrict ourselves to our flaws. There are things that are available to us with makeup to enhance those things. But, let's focus on the good things, like I know what works for me, and I try to concentrate on that. And but basically being able to look at myself in the mirror and accept myself and the way that I am, like really, really helps. And that's why with the clients, that's why, like you said, it's a collaboration in the sense that if a client tells me, you know what, I don't like foundation, can you please not use foundation? Of course, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? But then it's like, okay, let's not use foundation. Oh, I don't like my eyebrows to be like too overdone. I don't like this. I don't like that. So I try to work with that because at the end of the day, you need to work with what makes them feel good or better. That's the most important thing. Is like, how do I make sure that they get out of here feeling 100%? Yeah.
Now, this is the point I would like you to share. Your presence carries some feminine energy.
Definitely.
When did you start to fully embrace that and be comfortable in your skin?
I mean, that's a long journey. The thing is, as long and as far as I can remember, I've always been confused with a girl. Like, I remember even back in kindergarten, I must have been like 3 or 4, and people calling me her, or like, oh, is that a boy or a girl? Like, and definitely when I was a teenager, it was hard because, of course you don't want to be mistaken for a girl, especially when you're closeted. It's very bad. And then, so, I would dress like my brother or my cousins, like whatever they were dressing like, I would wear the same exact clothes, when it was time to wear baggy pants or like, like Timberlands or like all those things. But yes, that wasn't sustainable at all for me. And then you realize at some point, and I mean, luckily it happened quite early for me, like around 18 or 19, like that's not a way to live my life. And it's not that I wanted absolutely to be, to be feminine, but like I really can't help it. Like it was everywhere. Like, I could be like my brother and I could be dressed the exact same way, and I had shaved heads. I had a shaved head, like glasses, like looking like a nerd. But then like I would go to buy some bread and then the shopper there would go, hello lady, like good morning, something like that. Like, what do you mean? Like I have a shaved head, like I have a baggy shirt and then like I'm wearing like, what do you mean, or on the phone, it's just like, hello madame, and it's just bonjour madame, and what's happening, And yeah, so for a long time I used to fight it, but then at some point it's just like, listen, it is what it is, and I don't like the way my brother dresses, like, not that I don't like, because he had a great style back then, but then that's, that's not me, and so I remember once I was at my cousin's birthday, and she had a friend and who came, and he was so stylish. Oh my God, he was so stylish. He had his hair in a mohawk. He had like this velvet blazer, like skinny jeans, and then like Converses, Chuck Taylors. And ripped jeans. He was so stylish. I remember, like, how is this? He was Rwandan too, Yes, and I was like, how is this possible? I was 18, I think. How is this possible that a Rwandan person can dress like this and be out because it was a family event, I had my aunt, he was like, and he didn't care, It was just like, I am who I am. And he was also a dancer, so he started dancing, and he was like an amazing, amazing dancer. I remember I went to talk to him, just like, oh my God, where you shop for your clothes and stuff like that. And he definitely gave me inspiration. And then that's when I started experimenting more because again, like when you start dressing for yourself, you have this new sense of confidence that starts to come out of you. And then because I have a big feminine side or a big feminine eye, I was, at some point I stopped fighting against it and then just embrace it. And it's just like, yes, I like this piece of fabric and it's in the women's section. So a shirt is a shirt. Like, why am I not going to wear it? And definitely women, I mean, things have changed now, but then like back in the day, women just had clothes that were more fun, more colorful, more expressive. And, I loved to be a little bit more extravagant, more colorful. I loved color. And I just decided, let's fuck it. Let's just do it. It's fun. And then over time, just embraced it, and people, once they're used to seeing, now I'm with my family, I'm just like this, nobody says anything, it's just like, it just is what it is, obviously in the beginning it was looks, okay, my mom, oh, are you going to wear this? Yes, I am, thank you very much. But after a while, even my mom would buy me clothes, or I remember when I first had braids, like now I have locks, but before I used to do braids. The first time I did it, I think I was 20 years old. Yeah, my mom was like, what is this? What is going on? I hadn't come out to her at that point yet, but it was just like, what is this?
She didn't have an idea?
I mean, obviously she had an idea, but people like to wear a mask, and, unless you tell them, they prefer to believe what they believe. But fast forward to 2-3 years later, where she would pay. Oh, mom, yeah, she would pay for my braids. Oh, here's some money to get your hair braided. So it was. I think also you need to give time and space to people to adjust to who you are, but then you need to show them who you are first. Because nobody's going to. Well, not nobody, but it's harder for people to just say, okay, just do whatever you want, But you need to show them first, this is who I am. This is who I am. And then for them to say, okay, I accept who you are.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna ask you. Has your family, your environment really supported your aesthetics and your interest in
yeah,
beauty?
I mean, I didn't give them a lot of chance. It's just like it is what it is.
You also don't look like someone who would ask for permission. Or...
No, but then at some point, I'm 18. I'm just I'm an adult, and then I'm buying my own clothes. It's not like I'm asking her for money to go shop. Well, I mean, she did give me an allowance.
Could do whatever you want with it.
This is my money that you gave me, okay, but this is my money, and I'm gonna wear these jeans, and I'm gonna wear this t-shirt, and I'm gonna wear this, and I'm gonna do this hairstyle. But there were some pushback. There were some things that were a bit more difficult, but also around that time, that's also when I realized that you had to assert yourself, because if you let it, people are always going to tell you who they want you to be. They're always going to say, no, but this is who you are, or this is what I want you to be, or this is what the family values are, or this is what you represent in the family. But then at some point, you're like, that's not me, this is me, and I need to be able to tell you that or to show you that. And luckily, over time, that's my experience, and I'm very grateful, very fortunate as well for the family that I have, that it's never been an issue.
Yeah.
And I've been, embraced and then supported, really.
Yeah. So how do you deal with self-expression in Kigali? Because it's a new look, someone seeing you around in the street, they'll be confused. How do you...
I think, I'm very privileged in the sense that, first of all, coming from having grown up in Belgium, it's not as if I grew up here. So I feel there's this idea of me growing up in Europe that I bring something new or something fresh or something that's not here. So I've never had really an issue, the thing, when I came here, December 2020, I was 35, So at that point, I am who I am. Nobody's going to change me. So
too late.
I came here fully formed. So it is what it is. If it wasn't going to work out, maybe if I was to receive, a lot of comments, negativity or something, maybe I wouldn't have stayed. But it was, just the opposite,
That's great.
But
we're grateful to have you around,
Thank you.
Personally, I think there's a level of challenging you have, you challenge the status quo, and also someone has to talk to you to really know how great you are, because from the outside you look very quiet, nonchalant, you don't want. But then when someone speaks to you, it's another.
I am a bit reserved, but the thing is, I also know that I bring something new, and not that I'm a role model in a way, but then I represent change, and that's definitely very important to me, because I feel like I'm not the only person like this. I know. I see people, I see kids, I see younger people, and it's just everybody wants to express themselves. Everybody has something to say, and they really need. And I guess maybe sometimes seeing, same way that I saw this guy, walking to my cousin's, I was just oh my God, look at him, this is possible. I can be this person for somebody else. So that's why I don't try to limit myself, at least I want to live myself fully, and and that's the thing. And sometimes people have preconception is just like, oh, someone like him must be someone like that. And I'm also here to say, no, like, listen, I'm a business person. I am, I have a proper business and I do things properly. And, I'm not here bawling every weekend, or like doing crazy things or like drugs and whatever, alcohol. Like, no. I'm also very serious, and, I'm an educated person, all those things. I consider myself to be a smart person as well. So, it goes like I'm a fully formed human being. And it's just like, yes, my style is only one aspect of me. It might be out there, but that's not the entirety of who I am,
And I think something we need to talk about more, like identity. Do you define your identity, or the society gives you the identity? And you have to know what comes after. If you give yourself the identity, there's struggles that comes with it. But also, if the society identifies you as someone, it has its own struggle.
I believe that what I fight against is for people to put labels on other people. I don't struggle with it anymore, but like I know that when people look at me, they think something, and once they start talking to me, it's like maybe it's like a little bit different, right? And so
I must confess that happened to me.
Yes, but I know. And again, but then like if you start to dig, everyone has multiple layers, right? So it's just like, let's not stop at whatever the outside is. It sounds a bit cliche, but don't judge a book by its cover. But it's always, and we know this because it is the cliche, because people have multitudes, and I'm a big defender of that, and that's because of that. That's why fashion and style and beauty to me is such a beautiful thing, because it's self-expression. It's a way of, showing parts of yourself, like to the outside world. And if you're keeping everything to yourself, again, it's very hard for people to know who you are. And I feel like as human beings, everybody wants to be understood, or be seen, or feel seen, or be heard, feel heard, or in a way, shape, or form. But in all these things, you need to show, or you need to say, or you need to express, and I feel, or do. And it's in that action, really, that you really show the world who you are. So yes, show the world who you are. Don't wait for the world to tell you who you are, because once you do that, they will always keep you down. They will always write, no, you belong in this little box, just right here, where I can see you and step on you if necessary, or whatever. But no, if you have big dreams, big goals, not even big, or I'm not even talking about money, but then like aspirations for your life, like, this is how I want to live my life, like in this color, or like in this aspect. You really can. But you need to show the world first, and tell the world. Because every day, and not even mean-spirited, people tell you who you are every day. And not even to be mean, but it's just because it feels comfortable.
Yeah. It's what's expected. It's what's normal, what we're used to. And sometimes that hurts people,
it can only hurt people. And that's the thing I will say about Rwanda. Is such a country of traditions and culture, and then we are doing what everybody else is doing. Let's not shake the box or whatever. And to me, I'm all about shaking the box. I'm all about, okay, it's been done, so let's not do it again.
Upside down.
Yes, let's not, it's been done. If everybody's dressing like this, well, let's dress differently, or why would you want, I do have to say, the point is not to be different just to be different, because I don't believe in that. But the point is like, what do you want? What do you want to look like? You look like this. So let's try to work with what you look like, because this is who you are. And let's express whatever you feel like. Let's express that, and that's how you get to a beautiful, diverse, society, community. Is if everyone shows their true colors, but then like if everyone paints in the same color, like how boring is that, you know? Like how can the culture really be rich and radiant and vibrant if we're all doing the same thing, you know? Rwandans, we speak a lot about, again, our culture and everything, but any country is as rich as the people who are part of this. So I think we should encourage people to be as diverse and radiant and vibrant as they can be, you know? Yeah.
Man. You have built a business that has been around for some time, more than 2 years, more than 3 years, more than 5 years. That's a strong business, if I may say. How has social media helped you to establish your style, to put yourself out there, and help you express yourself?
I mean, definitely for makeup, I don't know where I would be without social media. Definitely, I was lucky to start my career when social media started. I mean, social media, you know, Facebook and Instagram. Instagram particularly started as well. And because it goes hand in hand, you know, makeup is a visual art.
Yeah.
So is photography. So being able to show your work is, you know, that's how, again, you reach people. So, and I've embraced social media from the beginning. Yeah. I remember, oh my God, when Instagram came out, I was desperate to be on Instagram. At that time, I didn't even have a smartphone yet. So I would use like my cousin's phone, like to post on my Instagram and just, you know, and especially, I don't know if you remember this, if you were, you know, old enough at that time. I don't know how old you are, but, you know, like me, I remember like just being excited to be able to put a filter on a photo because, oh, you put like a regular photo and it's just, you put a filter on it and it looks dreamy and it looks beautiful. And because, again, I've always been inspired by the fantasy, right? I've always been inspired by the fantasy, being able to put a filter on something. It's like, again, storytelling, whatever. It creates this image that is bigger than life. So I've always wanted to be on it. Of course, over time, you realize the dangers of social media. But yeah, definitely for my business, it's extremely, extremely important. And you need to be on there constantly. Also, just to remind people that you are present, you're doing, you know, the things that you're persevering, pushing through the struggles or whatever, and that you're still relevant, to be relevant, especially, you know, again, as I'm getting older, is also a big... very important, especially every day there's a new makeup artist. So I need to make sure that, you know, I stay relevant. I need to make sure that my skills stay relevant as well, that I'm on top of the newer trends. And so just for that, I need to keep up with social media as well.
Do you find that part easier for you? Because most people are doing creative work. They're like, okay, I would rather be focused on doing the work than advertise it online.
I mean, it's part, to me, it goes hand in hand, you know, like that's how I started. So to me, it is work, you know, of posting every day. Does it get tiring? Absolutely, yes. But I cannot imagine my career without it. So, it goes hand in hand. You know, if I have a client, let's take a picture, let's take a quick video so that I'm able to post it and share, and people can react and say, oh, this is beautiful. He does beautiful work. Let me hire him, you know, and also to stay on top of mind, you know, because again, you know, we're bombarded with pictures, photos, content every single day. So you really need to remind people, oh, yes, Ivan, because after me, it's somebody else, you know? So to stay on top of mind of people is part of the job. So you constant every single day, you know, like no matter what, you need to post. So it's difficult, and sometimes you want to take a break, and sometimes I do, but you have to come back and keep on pushing.
Were you inclined to do business before, or it's something you learned along the way?
I mean, definitely, it's not something that was innate to me. The thing is, I realized is that I've had many jobs in my life. I went to university, I have a master's degree in translation. So I worked in translation a little bit. I worked in a bank a little bit. I work as a teacher a little bit. I've done like so many things. And then I worked as a makeup artist in a store, and obviously I had a boss and all those things. And then so after probably a decade of working with 4 other people, I realized, I cannot work for, I need to be my own boss, basically. Yeah. And this is how I started my journey of being an entrepreneur. Obviously, the idea at first wasn't to be my own boss. The idea was just like, how do I make sure that, I put myself out there and, and people can reach me and not, like some other business, Mac, for instance, because I was doing makeup at Mac, but, people come out of the store and they're like, yeah, I did my makeup at Mac, but no, I did your makeup, you know what I mean? And so I guess, ego plays a part. I couldn't work for somebody else, I guess, because my ego was too big. And at some point, my ego became so big that the only way to work is to work for myself. And if I'm truly being honest, I guess Rwanda feeds my ego as well, is because here I can shine maybe even brighter than if I was still in Belgium.
Yeah, for sure. And the summers, you're always booked. All these wedding seasons, they're your busy time because we love your makeup. We enjoy it. Now, is there something you learned in business that has transformed the way you do business?
I would say, they say when you start researching about businesses and started businesses, they always say, start before you're ready. And in the beginning, that was so scary to me. And that's what would, stop me from starting things, is because I guess I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be done a certain way, and so... you want things to be perfect before you put it out there, also, I guess, being scared of criticism or whatever, or failure. But, when we started Tamim, she was more, let's say, intrepid in the sense like, let's just put it out there and then we'll fix it once we start, and that's business, basically. You do it, and then if something doesn't work, you can fix it along the way. And this is what I learned. And luckily now it's been 10, 15 years. Like by now, even opening the studio, I realized, okay, we cannot have everything perfect, but at least I have my vision ready and I know what the goal is. And, the goal is to get there and then, to work on improving every day, and again, like try to teach that like to the people that I work with, my employees, my staff, the members of my team. Is just like, we can make a mistake, that's fine, but it's just like how you deal with a mistake and how do you make sure to not make the same mistake twice. So I would say that's my biggest lesson. It's just really just do it, even with photography. And just do it. It's just like, I didn't know, like, oh my God, well, is someone going to pay for me to take their pictures? It's just like, oh, but do it and then you'll see, and then you'll see. Yeah, so that's the best. Trust in the process, definitely, but also like don't be so attached to perfection. Perfection is so overdone, I feel like, and I feel like most people aren't even expecting perfection. Some people don't even know what perfection looks like. So it's just like, just do it. And then you'll find what works. And you'll also find what perfection is to you. Same way that my makeup, some other makeup artists can look at my style and look at it's just like, is this done? Is that a full makeup? But then to me, I'm like, no, this is great. Let's stop here. Let's not touch the eyebrows. Let's not do more. Yeah. And I can look at somebody else's makeup and see, you're doing all that? Yeah, you're spending 40 minutes on an eyebrow? Like, are you crazy? So yes, like perfection means different things to different people. So just again, like the power of individuality is just like put yourself out there, and somehow somebody's gonna see that and want to connect with that. Yes.
That's a powerful point. Now we are in your studio. Mm-hmm. How does it feel to be here?
In my studio?
Yeah.
I love it. It feels great to have a space. You know, I had a makeup studio in Brussels. Again, we had worked so hard on it. Spent a lot of money, very, very, very expensive. So when I decided to move to Rwanda, because everything is expensive, so you need to pay back the credits, everything. And so I was like, when I moved to Rwanda, I thought to myself, do I want to go back to doing that? Because it's a lot of stress, All of a sudden now, it's not just you working by yourself, you have a team, you have salaries, you have rent, you have all that extra stress. Do I want taxes? Do I want to deal with that? So like the first few years, I thought, no, I'm going to work by myself. I had set up like a small studio at my home, and then I would host my clients there, or I would go to my client's house. But, like at some point, the work became so much that I needed a team, really. And so when I started working with other makeup artists, and then train them and teach them, that's when also you realize what you can, like, first of all, you have a better idea of the impact that you can have. And also you can just give back because, like now I look back and I say, okay, I've amassed, knowledge, experience, and then like if I work by myself, how am I giving it back? And I see it's a new, like an industry that I help give birth to basically here in Rwanda. So, and it's not yet to the point where, I see young artists like struggling, like getting paid or like getting paid properly for what the amount of time that they're spending on a client or the kind of work that they're doing. It's just like, this is very good makeup. It's not a 5K makeup, you know what I mean? So why are you charging 5K for a makeup for that kind of makeup, And
what do you think most artists struggle with? Because they know it's good, but they don't want to charge a lot of money.
Because it's the fear of that people don't want to pay for it, or it's going to be too expensive. People can't afford it, and I always say you need to show people who you are. You need to tell people show people what your value is. You don't wait for them, because when I first started, I didn't start at the price point that I am now, but ever since I started, every time I've raised my price, I was too expensive. When I first started, it was too expensive. It is still too expensive now, but I still have clients, and I still have more clients today than I had when I first started. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So if I was just like, oh, I'm too expensive, and I would listen to that, 10 years later, I would still charge, I don't know how much for a makeup. You know what I mean? So at some point, it's just like, no, I see the industry, I see the country, like the things that people put money in, I know how much I spend on makeup as well. I know the price of makeup, the quality of the products that I buy. Yeah. The price needs to reflect my experience, my years in the industry, understanding that I can adapt to a client, I can adapt to a situation, blah, blah, blah. So all that has value and all that has worth, and that should be reflected in the price that you are charging. And definitely, if the thing is, you don't work in a vacuum. That's why also, to me, competition is very good. I embrace competition is because that I can, I say, well, I consider my makeup to be better than this and this and this person and this person. So it should be higher. And then same thing, if you're a good makeup artist and you see and you have the feedback that your makeup is good, and then people are coming back to you, then why are you still charging the same as anybody else,
Be a confirmation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, for younger makeup artists, it is scary, even me, like every time I decide to increase my tariffs, the prices for my makeup, for my services, I stress. Luckily, with time, okay, I just know you have to stick with it. You have to stick with it, and then it gets easier. Yeah.
Someone who listens to the podcast asked me to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you train people knowing that they're going to go? They're going to move on. They're going to take a technique and go.
To me, the way that I see things is just like somebody believed in me when I was young. Somebody saw me and gave me a chance, you know? And some people, you know, because when I first started, some people were just like, who is this person? But, you know, luckily somebody was in my corner. Somebody saw the potential in me and gave me a chance. And at the end of the day, and by me giving me a chance, it's not like I stole work from them, you know what I mean? And this is what, you know, it is scary. Don't get me wrong. You know, I train people just like, please stay. And then, you know, I'm very talented makeup artist here. So like, oh my God, you know, am I happy when like, but I also know at some point they are going to leave. But that's part of the business. That's part of the journey. That's also building this industry. And also that's an incentive for me to, again, work harder and stay on top of things, not just say, well, you know what, I'm good. Now let everybody walk from me, and then like me, I don't do anything. I can just, no. So I make sure I'm still the best, and I stay the best, and I make sure I stay on top of things. If they go, well, even if they go, they're still not me, you know? So, and yeah, so like that's to me, that's part of building the industry, which I'm very, you know, I feel very passionate about, and part of giving, well, not giving back, because I don't want to make it sound like I run a charity here, but it's just it's part of the thing, because I see myself also starting, and it's just for my business to be the best that it can be, I need the best people that I can have, you know what I mean?
So you have to train.
So I have to train them and make sure they are up to the standards that I want to have. So to me, that's a non-negotiable. If they have to leave, well, then they leave. I will find somebody else and train them as well, and that's just it.
And someone said it's better to have trained employees than those who are not trained.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's my life easier. It makes my customer happier. It makes the reputation of my studio stronger as well. So it's a lot more benefits than it is, you know, like inconvenience. So, but it's again part of the process, and I make sure, you know, I continue training new people. So when someone is more senior and I feel like they're gonna go, or it's time to let them go, whatever, at least I have someone, you know, like a backup, you know. Yes.
Yeah. So what would you tell someone who wants to explore makeup? And what would you advise them on, first of all, safety and self-expression, and also the art of beauty? What would be your advice on that for someone who wants to?
The good thing about makeup is you just need to start doing it, you know? So it's not something where, I don't know. I mean, of course, you need to practice, but, you know, if you have a bit of understanding of makeup, you can start doing makeup the next day, you know? And so just continue doing it. The more you do it, the better you become. Invest in yourself, in your work, in your trainings, in your knowledge, in the products that you're using, because, yeah, products do make a difference as well. And continue to stay curious, and, you know, like, don't take things for granted, like, oh, I'm good, so I don't need to learn anything new, because, like, you know, the techniques that you're doing now, in 2 years, you know, somebody else will use, you know, especially here in Rwanda, the way that people love to copy everybody else. You know, that thing that you do great, somebody is gonna see it and gonna master it. Yeah, copy, master, and then, like, here you are,
sell it for less,
and sell it for less. And then you're just stuck there, and then, you know, because you refuse to work on your skills and improve. So no.
That's a good point. Now you have experience, you've been here around for some time. How do you define beauty now? How do you see beauty, the beauty industry evolving? How do you define beauty for your clients, for yourself?
No, I mean, my definition of beauty hasn't changed. It's still the same. I'm not here to transform you into someone you're not. That's not my business. So that has stayed consistent. And I feel like that reflects in the works that I do. In terms of the beauty industry, again, it's just like understanding what is your vision. And once you, because like this is my vision, this is what I like. Some people, they love the glamour, they love the transformation, and there's a place for that as well. And they have a place in the industry as well. And that makes it that people, when they choose a makeup artist, they go accordingly. You know, if they want something more natural, they come to me. If they want something a little bit more extravagant, maybe more glamorous, they go somewhere else. But also, yeah, it makes the whole experience healthier, because I don't want to disappoint anyone, you know, and do something that they don't want. So it's good that with a stronger industry, you're allowed as an artist to have a clearer vision for your work, your artistry, whatever, however you want to call it. Yeah.
And what do you advise clients? You know, because we usually hear, like, if you are a makeup artist, what do you advise other makeup artists? But what kind of message do you want to give to clients or people who come to you?
Don't be scared. Like, always, like, this is just makeup. A lot of people, especially because, again, I'm known to be a natural makeup artist. So they come to me for a natural look. So understand they are afraid of makeup. And this is just makeup. This is just foundation. This is just mascara. This is nothing. Anything I do now can be adjusted, removed, restarted, whatever. So just relax. And also just accept the fact that you can look and feel better, more beautiful. You know, like, some people are afraid of looking beautiful. To them, it's just like, oh my God, it's too much. I look too beautiful. It's just like too much, you know? And it's just like, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with being beautiful? Like, Are you crazy? I don't tell them that they're crazy, of course, but it's just like, just relax. It's all right. My goal at least, is to make you look and feel your best. And if I haven't achieved that, we can always take it back and, you know, like, start again if it's necessary. But like, I'm in your corner, basically, is what I want to tell my clients. I'm here for you and to make you feel your best. So whatever it is, please share with me. But also just relax and trust me.
Mm-hmm. Do you love doing makeup for brides?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a specific thing you like about that?
It's not a specific thing I like. Actually, I had this conversation like 2 days ago, but I mean, I like it. It's one of the biggest part of my business, you know, of my services. That's what brings in the most money, for sure. So I love it for sure. The only thing I would say is just my favorite thing about doing makeup is, you know, the exchange that you have here with your client. Again, it's like trying to figure out how they feel best and then translate that into a makeup look. Now, the problem is with bride, it's because there's so much pressure on it from all corners, you know, society, family, their mother, their parents. Oh, my mother doesn't like this. Oh, if I go with my mother, it's gonna kill me. Like, all of it, like, it's so much pressure that you don't really get to something that's really specific to the client, to the person. You know what I mean? It's always a representation of what they feel everybody's gonna like, you know? So that's not natural to me. And my goal is to do something that's gonna feel natural to the person, right? So I prefer, you know, something that's not bridal, and again, working on returning customers, you know, some people who have had the chance to work multiple times on, because, you know, I'm not going to get it 100% right the first time that I see you. I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to get all the intricacies of your face, of your style, of your vision, of what you want to represent, everything that first time. So having the opportunity to do someone multiple times and then establishing that relationship where, again, they trust you and you're, again, here to make them look and feel their best, then you experiment. And I'm definitely one of those makeup artists that I don't do the same look twice on a client, you know, because I'm always trying new techniques, on a client as well. And that gets me to discover new things and also discover elements of someone's face. And again, keep it fun. This is like, we're only doing makeup here, we're not changing the world. And so keep it fun. And once you can start having fun with your clients and they have trust that whatever fun you're doing, they're still going to look amazing. That's when it feels great for both of us, I think.
I've always been curious to know how the process of doing makeup for Makeda goes between the two of you, because it feels like you have mastered her face. And
you know what? I have, because there's Makeda, Bibina, some girls, I've been doing for 10 years. There were some of the first girls that I did when I first arrived in Rwanda in 2015. So definitely, like, they've evolved, like our relationship in terms of makeup at least has evolved with the years, and for someone like Makeda, now she's my friend. Like, I know how she feels, just like, okay, she feels like this, so let me not try to do too much. Oh, she feels good, so let me, let's play, Are we doing a photo shoot? Let's do this, Same with someone like Bibina. I've been doing her makeup for so long. It's just like, I'm not here trying to prove to her that I'm the best makeup artist, Because that can also be like restricting. I'm just here to experiment and try something new, and then trying to make her face come out, like even more amazing than the last time I did her. But because there is a lot of trust there, I feel like it reflects back in the work that I'm doing on them, because like there's no conflicts, it's just like I'm trying things, but I trust you. And then if something, and definitely sometimes I'm like, it's a bit too much, like that concealer is a bit too light, or too much powder, and then we work on it. But because there is a trust and understanding, like, and a lot of respect, I have a lot of respect for them, and they have a lot of respect for me as well. It just gives like the perfect concoction for like the most amazing makeup, and especially it's when you take someone like Makeda and Bibina, it's funny because every time I do Makeda's makeup, people tell me, or people say that, oh, Ivan, he only does light skin people. When it's light skin, he does his best work. And when I post someone like Bibina, oh, Ivan, he only does dark skin. Dark skin, you master. It's just like, please.
There's a point in time I came to you, I was like, I think you have a specific texture of skin that you like.
Yeah, well,
and you're like, come on.
I have every different skin type, but obviously I have the kind of makeup that I like. So there's a certain touch that is going to come out in everyone I do. And it's funny because, sometimes people, they tell me, it's just like, oh, yeah, you did that person. She didn't tell me, but I knew, basically. So that's inevitable. But again, I'm not, because also like starting, I wanted to be able to do everybody, I'm not here I only do like dark skin. I only do light skin girls. I only do like black people. No. Everyone. And, I have a client here. She's Asian, and she's been a loyal customer, returning, and then obviously, it's not like I've had in my past a million Asian clients, but for her, because I've worked with her, so I made sure that I've watched, I watched things. And it's just like, okay, and I told her, it's just like, I've seen things, so let's try this, and then she's game again, trust, because she's been coming back and she's been happy every time, so. She's game to try new things, and we end up with amazing results because there is trust on the one hand, and on my side also I make sure that I keep up with what I need to keep with my skills. Yeah.
How important is it for artists to have a space where they have friendships that encourage them to explore more, in your experience?
It is so important, and that's why I want to create a space of mentorship, and a space of communication, and a place for people to try new things. And especially here in Rwanda, people are afraid of trying new things, like they want to stick to what works. And to me is just like that the quickest way of failure, So I'm pushing everyone. Try new things, Don't be afraid, If it fails, it's fine. We try again next time, But let's try new things. And then, yes, unfortunately, sometimes, not every client is going to be happy. Even me, I've had clients who finish, like, I don't know, But, over time, that happens less and less and less. Yeah. And to the point where it's just like anecdotal. And then same things. If you've only been doing your makeup for like a year or two, like, of course, you're going to not mess it up. But then, sometimes you're going to have clients who are like, I'm not sure, And it can be very frustrating and challenging and all of that, but that's part of the game. But you think about, okay, I didn't get this client, let me get the next client, and just continue. But then, like, don't be afraid and just push through, and just continue. And the thing is, and this is what I believe, especially in business, like, I believe the person who wins the game, eats the cake at the end is the person that has continued until the finish line, who played the long game. Because in any business, in any area in life, you can stop at any time. And, all the makeup artists that I've started with, at MAC when I started, it's only maybe like 2 or 3 that are still, out of, 20, 30 people that are still doing makeup today, So, it is a very challenging industry. It is very hard. But if that's what you want to do, it is, push through. There are ups and downs, but, continue.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ivan, for your time.
Yes.
This was very full of information.
Is it?
Yeah. I hope those who are listening can confirm this, because
I'll be reading the comments. I want to know. Yeah. But no, thank you. I appreciate it. And you know what? You did ask me a question. Nobody asked me before. So I'm very grateful. I feel like I haven't repeated myself like 100 times. So that was my main worry. So like, look at you, podcaster. Yeah. You did amazing.
So thank you. Is there anything you want to share with everybody who's listening? Because I never know who is listening to my podcast, by the way. So just send a seed.
Oh my God. No, I'm Ivan Mugemanyi. I'm a makeup artist and photographer. We haven't talked too much about the photography, but a photographer as well. And then make sure you pass by our studio. We have an amazing team of people here trained, I believe, in professionalism, which is, we didn't talk too much about that, but hopefully it has come through what I said. And looking forward to hearing, reading, or like any feedback, please, I want to know.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, well, done.
I was like,
it's time to go. What time is it?